Hello and good afternoon, everybody. So, how are you all? I hope well. Today, first off, I'm wearing my Jazz hat because the Jazz won to stay away from being down 3-1. Now it's tied 2-2 in their series, and so I'm happy. I know most of you don't care, but it was a great game. They only won by 1 point. Fantastic game. Get a chance to go watch it, and also go Warriors. Warriors are really they're gonna move on for sure. They're a great team. So I'm a Warriors fan too, but it's fun. NBA playoffs, let's get into the hype and the fun of all of it. But for class today, I'm going to talk about some updates. So we have some updates for our program, and I want to go over them with you. This is mostly for staff, but as I read it over, I realized that it affects all of you as well in some ways. Or it's at least information that is useful for all of us. So I'd like to go over that with you. So here are, and it's on COVID-19, but it's COVID-19 updates, and it's really specific to where, a lot of times people talk about like, oh, the numbers are going down or the numbers here, but California is huge. So these are numbers that are specific to our area. It kind of breaks it way down from all of California, even down to Contra Costa County, and then down to even just our area of kind of Richmond, where we're centrally located. Okay, so here are the updates. So since the end of January 2022, 2022, cases of COVID-19 have gone down significantly in the Contra Costa and at our program. Currently in our county, there are 7.8 cases per 100,000 people, compared to 204 cases per 100,000 people in January. That's a huge reduction. Huge. Which is fantastic. This has increased slightly in the last week due to the BA2 variant of the virus. So there are going to be variants, and like I said, the virus wants to live, so there are going to be variants. But the strains are becoming weaker in some ways and stronger in others. But as long as we've been either vaccinated and boosted, also just maintaining our safety practices of 6-foot distancing, wearing masks, and things like that. As long as you're doing that, the variants aren't going to be as strong for all of us, or the infection rates will go down a lot more. So only 31 people in our hospitals with COVID-19 now, compared to 333 people in January. That's again fantastic. I feel bad for the 31 people, but hopefully they're getting the care they need. About 130 new cases of COVID-19 each day in our community, compared to 2,568 in January. Again, huge reduction. 130 compared to 2,568. That's a great number to hear. And we are still watching for the new variant BA2, which is slightly more transmissible. However, hospitalizations are much lower. As usual, having the vaccine and subsequent boosters and wearing a well-fitted mask are the best preventative measures, with an exclamation point right there. And it really is. But, most of us have been. So, and just staying safe. Make sure that we stay safe. So more good news. And this is mostly, like I said, for staff, because a lot of we're the only ones that are really required to get mandatory tested. Like if you've been vaccinated and boosted, you get tested monthly once. And if you're vaccinated, or if you're unvaccinated and not boosted, you get tested weekly. Which is to make sure that everybody's safe. So this is the good news for those that get tested weekly or monthly. We can now use an over-the-counter antigen test at work if it is observed by somebody designated by a supervisor. This must be documented, and we have attached a form to record these test results. So now instead of, give me one sec. Okay, so now instead of, because what we had been doing is we had people coming on site that would test us. But now what they're saying is that basically this is an over-the-counter sort of test that you can get and we can use. And instead it'll be administered weekly for the people who need it weekly, and monthly for people who need it monthly. I'm not exactly sure how all this will play out. I don't know if the person does it themselves. I don't know if somebody else needs to do it. I'll find out more about this. As I'm thinking about it, it should be interesting. Well, anyway, but we can do that instead, and then it just needs to be documented that it was done, and then send paperwork off instead of having a medical facility come to our site and test each of our staff. Now we can kind of do it per each program and get it taken care of that way. So, and all this will begin on May 1st, 2022. And we'll also be receiving a new supply of these tests. So we're going to have a bunch of these. I don't know how many we can actually administer to everybody, but luckily I have some still in my office. So we'll get a new supply from the Office of Emergency Services, so we can continue to use so we can continue to, so they might even still have people coming on site. I'm not sure. There's a lot of open-ended questions here. But we can still, we can use these, which is a good thing moving forward. And, to me, it's a step that we're getting closer to where we can actually start to come back. Because we're not needing, the regulations are starting to finally filter down because the numbers are filtering down. So when a COVID-19 has been detected at a facility, all staff, vaccinated or not, and this would probably be any of you also coming on site, must wear either an N95 or a surgical mask provided by our program for the recommended time period. If you have NIOSH approved N95 masks, those are okay too. Unfortunately, we have not been able to secure N95s for us at this time, but that change will also happen. So if somebody does get infected within a certain program on our site, then we need to wear these instead of, like I always do, the double mask thing. Because it's more comfortable. I bought the masks because they're comfortable and they take care of the job, and I double up to make sure that everybody's safe. And then here's the last thing. There has been some confusion about recent news reports of the elimination of the 6-foot physical distancing and the elimination of mask mandates. So a lot of questions going on there. So let's clear up that confusion. We attended, the COVID-19 task force that we have attended a community care licensing call of last Wednesday, and it was emphasized that because we are considered healthcare facilities, those reports do not apply to us. So we're not getting rid of those mandates. We still have the 6-foot distance. We still need to be wearing masks. That is still part of us because we are a healthcare facility. And that's good to know, for each of you. So anytime you look up anything, say, oh, well, this site's doing it, or this place is doing it, they've gotten away with it, or they're not doing it anymore, and it's all changing for them at other places. Well, are they considered a healthcare facility? If not, their restrictions are much lower. And for me, that's a little more frightening that they're going to move ahead and be like, well, since we're not a healthcare facility, then, we're just not going to mask. And there are still cases going on. Since we're considered a healthcare facility, so it puts us in an upper tier, we take the safe route the entire time, which is good, according to me. They mentioned that the new regulations will be coming out for adult day programs in a month or so. So watch for that. In a month or so, this might change, depending on what's going on. They're also watching for a possible surge in the BA2 variant of COVID-19 and are being extra cautious in our settings, so stay tuned. And this is why, again, I'm bringing it up to you, so that you all have the same information that I have. And finally, a reminder, well, the last part, not that important at all. It really isn't. But it really only has to do with staff, and when it comes to if a staff member has been infected, whether they can still take leave and have that be covered because, to no fault of their own, they happen to become infected with the COVID-19 virus, be it whichever strain or whatever's going on. But and yes, they will be covered. That it's covered by California right now, and so that's good news as well. But it sounds like to me, numbers are going way down. Way down. And let's just hope that it stays that way. And hopefully we'll be able to get back. And so within a month, so there might be big changes coming in May. I'm not promising anything. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. But this is news for y'all. Let's hope that things will continue the way they've been going, and we can actually start getting back to more activities. Opening up, possibly bringing on new staff. Depending, and enjoying the future. Anyway, I will see you all at some point this week, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Okay, ciao for now.